Hello, welcome back to Python tutorial, creating a Pokemon game here. So we're going to continue on from last time, and today we're going to see an actual running game. It's not going to be perfect, but it should be pretty satisfying. So let's get to it. First of all, I'm going to delete the temporary stuff from last time. There you go. And I'm going to refine some classes we defined last time. First one is Draw UI. The first class we're going to refine is going to be the Draw UI class. This one, if you remember, faction refers to whose Pokemon it belongs to, and it has a name and current HP and max HP, which are hit points. So as a matter of fact, I think it's better to turn this into a Pokemon class rather than a UI. So renaming this to that will change all these accordingly. So we have to change the name of the class down here. There's going to be HP, and there are more attributes such as attack and defense. We're not going to worry about special attack and special defense here. We're not creating a bunch of moves. So we're only going to worry about physical attack and defense in this game. So we added these two parameters. Then we have to save this parameter input as an input to the self internal variable here. So then the same thing follows. Attack. The same goes for defense. I'm gonna change this name to player, and this is enemy, like that. So down there we're gonna have to change a little bit more. I think we used draw AI class down there somewhere. Since we added these two parameters, we're gonna have to add here as well. So let's say attack and defense. I'm gonna set this to 100 for our Pokemon, and for the opponent, I'll make it attack and defense. Same attack, higher defense. And if you scroll down, we used the draw function here, and now that the variable's name has changed, we have to change this accordingly, like that. And for this one, enemy Pokemon right there. And as I was optimizing this script here, I think it's very useful to have one more function under our message system. That includes whether there is a pending message or any message that's being displayed at the moment. So this will return true or false if you run this function. So I'm going to name it as has active message. And to check whether there is a message or not, we're going to have to look at these two values here. So then this is a list and this is a string. So to get true or false, there's a function called bool. So if you do this, if it's empty, it's going to be false. If it's not empty, if there's something, it's going to be true. If there's a message being displayed right now, it's going to return true. Or there could be a pending message, so we're going to investigate Q variable here as well. So in this case, we're going to write self.q. I'm going to write a little memo here. True if there is a current or pending message. This function was useful because whenever we display those moves, there is no message being displayed. For example, if you think about the intro, where we display the welcome message, there's no more message. Basically, show buttons at the right time. And one more important thing under the class button, is that we need to be able to recognize when the button is actually clicked physically. So we're going to define that as name clicked. This is going to be under the button class because the buttons, there's a rectangular area, and if you click on the inside of it, then we will have to create an action accordingly. So here, you're going to get an input here. So we're going to use our internal variable self, and then we need a cursor position, mouse position, like that. Then this function will return simply the true or false, whether that cursor, the place that's clicked, is inside rectangle. So to do that, there's a collide point function that we can use with Pygame, and this is going to be mouse position. So again, I'm going to make a memo here. This investigates whether this mouse position, where this is clicked, is investigating whether it is inside the rectangle. So writing it here, check if the clicked position is inside the rectangle. So this simply returns true or false. So returns true or false. And next up is quite exciting. We're going to create some moves first. So moves, we're going to think about what kind of moves we're going to put in this game. We're going to keep it simple here. So it's going to be just a simple damage and some healing and some stat increase or decrease. We're going to just choose one stat increase. So we're going to have 2 damage attacks, 2 damage moves, and healing and stat increase moves. Let's go from there. So we're going to define a new class move here. And always when you define a class, you have to define the initialization by doing that. And we have to think of parameters when you define a move. So always you have to store the parameters, always include self. And moves will have its own name. And moves have a power, how much damage it will do. And there's going to be some miss chance depending on the move. And there's going to be a critical chance. And then one more parameter is going to be category. So category is going to be a string. Let me write it here. So what is this category? This is going to be a string, whether it is damage. It just tells you if it's a damage skill, damage move, or healing move, buff. For every parameter here, we have to do the same thing in any class. So we're going to save all the input parameters in our internal variable self here. That's what we're doing. Otherwise, all the parameters will be lost. And as for moves, we need to execute the move. We're going to create some messages with the moves. So let's name it as execute. And what do we need here? For example, somebody used something. You see that kind of message every time. So this is to display those. So what do you need? You need the parameters of these. We're going to use all these. So self. And you need a attacker. Why do you need an attacker? Because your attacks is based on your stats. Your attack, defense, those all will influence how much damage it will do. And also defense will determine the damage. If you have a high defense, then you'll get less damage. And another one is we have to display the message. So message system, so that we can add some message whenever we use a move. So as soon as we click on the move, we would like to add a message like that. And we can use the add function that we added up there. And it requires a string. And what am I going to write here? Raichu used something. So what's this something? And this move class will have a name. So we can write in this bracket here, self name. So this is what self? Self is where we're doing the move. So move's name. And as for Raichu, we can do it better because sometimes the opponent will attack. So it's better to change this to a reference. And we have the attacker parameter as an input. So we can write attacker.name and it will extract its name. And of course, if you're adding a reference point here, we have to write F at the front. And every time you use a move, this message will be displayed. This is attacker. Based on what move you use, it could be damage, it could be heal, it could be buff. All the messages will be different. And of course, if you miss, then it missed. Message must appear. So let's do when it's a heal. Self category equals heal. Like that. So when it's heal, what message should we display? So we're going to just copy and paste here and just edit what's inside. Recovered HP, that's basically what we need. The move user recovered HP. So I haven't decided how much HP, so I'm just going to write it like that for now. Let's do buff, because damage is the most complicated because there's a crit chance, there's miss chance. I'm going to do this later. So let's do buff next. So else if self category is a buff. Let's say this is sword stance, for example. Then what message are we expecting? Somebody's attack sharply rose. So attacker's name, somebody apostrophe S, attack. In any other case, it will be a damage. We don't have to specify here because there's going to be only 3 different types. But I'll do a little memo here. When category equals damage. This will apply here. And here we have to do some random function here because we have to roll. Basically roll if it's a miss, if it's a crit. So how do you roll a random number? We need a different library. Pygame does not have that by default. So we go up there. We're going to import something called random. And this is a library if you want to use random numbers. So coming back here, so we're going to use some random numbers to determine whether the attack is going to be a miss or a crit. So when it's damage, we're going to start another if statement here. And to roll a dice, you use the random function, random integer. So this will take 2 parameters, the minimum and maximum. So this means roll any number between 1 to 100, and it will pull out any one random number. So that random number, if this is less than the miss chance, self miss chance, for example, this is 10%, let's say, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, those are all misses, right? We have to display a message when it's a miss. then we can say, we don't need a name here. Let's just say it missed, like that. And then next up is the critical chance. So it will be else if. I'm going to copy and paste this one here and paste here. So you roll a random number, and now you're comparing with crit chance. So if you roll that is under this crit chance, for example, 20%, then any number below 20 should work. Then what message are you displaying? We're going to display a critical hit. And what are the other cases then? This is going to be just normal damage. So normal damage, you're going to just say it dealt some damage. But that will also apply here as well. So let's copy and paste here. This one, it dealt X damage. And I'm going to copy and paste from here to here. And now we got to think about how much damage will it do. So we want some number here. And we can actually determine that within this class because we have all the information we need. We have the attack power. We can extract attacker's attack and defense. Defender. It's not defense. It's defender. That's going to be a better word. We have all the stats of these. We can determine the amount of damage and heal in this class. Let's figure out how much healing we would do, because these are defined by all these parameters. For example, I'm going to create a little example. You can say tackle here. So then you put in all these parameters. So what is the name? So you call tackle here. That's going to be the name of the move. And the power is 20. I'm looking at the parameters here. When you create a move, this is how you do it. Power, miss chance, let's say it's 5% miss chance. Crit chance, also 5. And category, it's going to be damage. So this is ultimately where we're going. So each move will have a defined power. So thinking about that, heal as well, there's going to be amount of heal by default. And in this game, I'm not planning to increase any healing depending on the buff or anything like that. It's going to be always the fixed amount. So we have to heal the user, whoever is using this move. So that's going to be the attacker, right? So attacker is a Pokemon, and it will have an HP, right? You can extract the HP information because why? Where's the HP? If you go to the Pokemon class, there's all the stats included here. So we can extract the HP, the current HP. And for example, if you're recovering 40, you can do that kind of stuff. But here, there's an issue if you do it this way. Imagine you're at 99 health out of 100. So you're at 99 health, and if you use this, then you'll get 136. So it's going beyond your maximum health. That, I don't want to do that. So in this case, we can use a useful function, which is the minimum. So you list the two, and it will choose whichever is lower. Always whichever is lower. That's why it's min. It's not max. So what do we do? So one thing, it's going to be attackers max HP. Like that. Or if the healed amount is still lower, then we'll choose that. So it's going to be attacker dot HP, current HP, plus there's going to be a power, right? Power related. So this move's power has a defined power amount, right? So power is the amount of healing. So amount of healing plus current HP. If that's still lower, it's going to be that one. If this one exceeds the maximum HP, then this will be chosen. So let's create a little memo here. Prevent HP going above max. The next one is buff. So what stat are you adjusting? I'm going to do sword stance. So then what will be affected? It's going to be attackers, attack stat will be affected, and this will increase, right? So this will be increasing, and there's going to be some power involved. I'm thinking of a factor here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this number and multiply by the factor. So this way, I'm going to make a little note. Attack increases by percent. It's going to be a factor. So you can do either it is 1. I'm going to further elaborate. If it's 1, there's no effect. This is going to be 100%. So this must be 1.1 or 1.2 or something like that. If it's 1.1, it's going to be 110%. If this is lower than 1, it's a disadvantage. It's not rising, it's declining. So we'll have to put a reasonable number here. We're just making a memo that this is a scale. When it comes to dealing damage, I don't want any point something damage. I would like a whole number, and that will be determined when we decide what damage. So that will be determined down here. So as soon as you click damage, then we can already calculate the amount of damage. So let's do that. So damage, it's going to be a new variable here. And this is affected by the power. But as I said, I don't want this damage number to be a decimal place. I don't want 10.4 HP left. I don't want to see any of that. So to convert this into a whole number, we use the integer function. And this will be affected by the move's power. But there's going to be some scale here. It will be affected by defense and attack stat. So then this is going to be attackers, attack stat. And attack stat is 100, as I made a Pokemon over there. Let's go back here. Attack and defense is going to be 100 and 100. So thinking about that, I'll just divide it by 100. Like that. So this one, you don't have to exactly follow me. You can do your own formula. But this is what I'm deciding to go with. When it's a critical, we have to decide how much more damage. So we can do that here. So damage, the new damage, we already calculated here. But when it's a crit, we're going to multiply that by 1.5. So that's a huge damage. So I'm going to make a little note here. When crit, 150% damage. So if it's a 20 damage, for example, it will be 30. And when it's just regular damage, so then we have to cut the HP from the defender. So defender current HP will be decreased by that much. And this applies here as well. So this damage, again, this damage is different from this one here because this is a crit. So the new damage is going to be larger than what it used to be. So here we have finished creating a move class. And you can make a lot of moves starting here. So let's make a little more. So this is Raichu, so I'm gonna make Thundershock, and the name will be Thundershock. And actually, for variables, it's customary to just do in small case letters. What's being displayed in the game will be this string right here, so don't worry about this variable's name. Thundershock will have a higher damage, but it will have an increased chance of miss. So then there's a merit of choosing Tackle sometimes. And for our opponent Charizard, we need Flamethrower. It's a fire Pokemon. We need to have that. And we're going to make it almost the same as Thundershock, but the name will be Flamethrower. And this one, let's adjust it a little bit less like that, 10 to 10. Less chance of missing. Then we have to lower the damage a little bit, and let's do 25. Okay, and the next one will be Sword Stance. I'm going to do a little underscore here, and copy and paste from here. And the move's name is Sword Stance. And the attack power, remember, when it comes to buff, this is not 20 or anything like that. 20 will be crazy. 1.3 is a reasonable number. 30% increase. And this will stack, right? So maybe 1.2, 1.25. Let's do that one. And then there's going to be miss and crit chance, but this will be ignored because when it's buff, it doesn't look into any of that. So here, what you put in doesn't matter. So I'm just going to put 0 and 0 here. It doesn't matter. And the type of move is buff. And lastly, we're going to do a healing move. And I'm going to say recover. But I don't want a lot of healing going on in my game, so I'm going to say berry. And I'm going to eventually limit to 2 berries. So I'm going to say berry for now. There's no quantity yet. I'm planning to add a quantity, but we'll see. Considering all these damages, 20, 30, 25, I think 50 is a reasonable number. And again, here is the heal, and it doesn't use any miss or crit chance. So here, what you put in doesn't matter. So I'm going to just put 0, 0 here, and the category will be heal. So those are all the moves that I'm planning to put in for now. And as I see up above, this is kind of redundant. The button will have a name of tackle. So then if you want to change this to quick attack for some reason, then you'll have to change here and here. So programmers don't like to do this. So we would like to do it all at once. So we can't move this over there because we're defining all the stuff regarding moves over here. So this will have to come down here. So I'm going to cut here and paste right there. So I'm going to make a little note here. This is moves list. And then down here, this is a buttons list. And instead of doing tackle, now we have a reference point. Instead of tackle, what is this? How do you reference this one? Tackle is that one there. So instead of doing this string, we can do tackle dot name. And that will be pretty simple because all you have to do is change this to quick attack and that's it. So same goes for here. It's going to be Thundershock dot name. I didn't realize that that was Thunderbolt before, but I guess it doesn't matter. Takedown, sure, but we'll do Sword Stance. Dot name. And lastly, Barry dot name. Actually, I didn't realize this was capitalized, so I'm gonna make this into a lowercase. So there you go. We have finished creating our moves and buttons. So I think I'm gonna stop here. It took longer than I expected. So at this point, we can't test anything because we haven't changed anything in the main part. I noticed here we have to return true or false. This is just doing nothing here. So we have to actually write return so that it returns true or false. And also here, we don't need this bracket here. We're not referencing in a message. So this one should be just without the bracket. And also we can fix this X now. We have a damage right now. We'll put a reference here to damage, right? Damage. But it's not just that because it's referencing. We have to put an F at the front. And that will apply here as well. So I'm just going to copy and paste over here. I think we should stop here. Next tutorial, we're going to finish our game. So we're going to see our game run for the first time. I'm not sure if we can complete the animation part, but at least our game will be running pretty decently. So stay tuned and see you in the next tutorial.